Welcome back. In the last lecture, we saw how we can create a data frame from a list of dictionaries. In this lecture, I will show you how we can quickly make a data frame from a tuple of dictionaries. So I just made this before making the lecture to save some time. And this method is not very common, but I wanted to quickly show you how we can create a data frame from a tuple of dictionaries. And this method will create a multi-indexed data frame. Okay? So this is what it looks like. And we'll use pandas data frame method. We have tuples and dictionaries. You don't have to worry about this method. I just wanted to show you this quickly. Let me run it and show you. So this is what we call a multi-index data frame. We have multiple indexes, right? For instance, index, we have two outer indexes, right? Outer 1, outer 2. Those are outer index, and then inner level index, we have inner 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then inner 11, 12, 13, and 14. And for our columns, we have the outer columns X and Y, and the inner columns A, B, C, A, and B. This is what we call multi-hierarchical level data frame. And in future lectures, we'll see how we can grab specific values from this data frame. How we can grab this inner indexes or a value, any specific value, for instance, this value 5 or 9, and so on. But this, I just wanted to point out that we can create data frames from a tuple of dictionaries. Okay? Great. Next, let's see how we can select columns from our data frame. So if we call the data frame object that we created in the previous lecture, we have a data frame with two columns, key 1 and key 2, and we have indexes A through E. Now we'll see how we can select a specific column, how we can add a column, or how we can remove any column. Okay, let's dive into that. Let's say I want to grab the column key 1. How can I do that? So I can simply call my data frame object and pass the column name as an index. So we can simply pass key 1. And we get our index A, B, C, D, and E, and the values for our column key 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, and no value. And we have name of our column, and data type is float. And we can add another column. Let's say we want to add a column called key 3. And we can set that to be equal to, let's say, our data frame key 1 column times, let's say, our data frame key 1 column, and run it. Now if we call our data frame, we have a new column, key 3, and then the value is key 1 times key 1. So the value of key 3 at index C is 3 times 3, 9, and so on. 4 times 4 is 16, and we have no value here. Similarly, if we want to add a fourth column, we can say, so data frame, let's say key 4. We'll use a similar method. We say data frame, let's say key 1 times data frame key 3. And then if we call our data frame now, we get a fourth column, and the value is key 1 times key 2 for each of the index. So for instance, the value for index B is 2 times 4, which is 8, and so on. And we can also add columns and then specify values by referring to an existing column. Let me show you what I mean. Let's say data frame, and then we want to add a fifth column. Let's say key 5, and we can set that to be equal to our data frame. We'll consider key 2. Let's consider key 3, and then we'll say wherever the value is, let's say greater than 5. What do you think I'll get in this case? So think about it. We'll add a new column called key 5, and then that it says it's equal to data frame, consider column 3, and value is greater than 5. So this will give us a Boolean result, right? Since we are saying greater than 5, we'll get a true or false value. So it will see key 3 at index A is 1. Is that greater than 5? No. So the first value for our key 5 will be false, and then same thing here, false, then true, true, and so on. So if we call our data frame now, we get false, false. We only get true for indexes C and D, since those are the values are greater than 5. We can also delete data frames by using the delete and pop method. Let's see how we can do that. First, let's see how we can delete a data frame column by using the delete method. So we can simply say delete, and then we'll specify our data frame and then pass the column that we want to delete. Let's say I want to delete key 5. So we simply pass key 5. Let's run it. Now if I call my data frame, we no longer have key 5. We can accomplish the same thing by using the pop method. So we have our data frame dot pop, then we pass our column name. Let's say we want to delete key 4. We simply pass key 4, and let's save this in a variable called dframe pop. So if I call dframe pop object, we have A, B, C, and D, and E, and then key 4. Right? So key 4 is dropped. Great. Let's call our data frame. So we have 3 columns, key 1, key 2, and key 3. And we have these values. We can insert any scalar value by specifying our column. Let's see an example. Let's say I want to change the values for my column 3. Or let's say we want to add another column and then specify the same value for each of the indexes. How can we do that? We have seen half of it earlier. We call our data frame and then specify the new column that we want to add. Let's say new column, and then we'll set the value to be any value that we want. Let's say new value. So this will set all the values for our new column to be equal to new value. So it will add a new column, new col, and then the values for all the indexes will be new val. Let's call our data frame. See, now we have a new column and then the value is new value for each of the indexes. Okay, what if we want to add a new series or column to our data frame and only specify few indexes? How can we do that? Or what will happen? Let me show you an example. Let's say we want to add a series or a new column. Let's name it, what do we have here? New column. Okay, let's call it column 5, and then we'll set that to be equal to our data frame, and let's use the value for our, let's use the value from our key 3. So we can say key 3 and then specify, let's say I want the first 3 values, 1, 4, and 9. How can we do that? So we pass that as an index. So this is index 0, 1, and 2. So I'll say consider all the indexes up to 3. So this means consider the values for my index A, B, and C, which are 0, 1, and 2. So this method will add a new series or column, key 3, and then for the values, consider values up to index 3. So it will add the values 1 for index A, 4 for index B, and 9 for index C, and the other 2 values will be not a number, NaN. Okay, let's run it and call our data frame. We have 1, 4, 9, and then no values. So the new data frame will add no values or not a number, NaN, for the remaining indexes. Great. To summarize what we have seen in this lecture, we saw how we can select or add and delete any specific column, and in the next lecture we'll look at some data alignment and arithmetics on DataFrame.